Good afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Nick Marianos on this first alert action day. I want to bring you up to speed with the wind, the strong to damaging winds that's been impacting the valley throughout much of the afternoon so far. Here's a video coming out of downtown Sacramento this afternoon off of 15th and N Street. So you can see the extensive tree damage coming down there, and unfortunately, we've seen these tree limbs and, in fact, entire trees coming down in some cases on top of vehicles. And that was the case here on this scene here off of 15th and N Street. So you can see that car there covered with tree limbs and branches as a tree crossed the roadway there. And again, just extensive tree damage coming in across much of the county, across Sacramento County. I've seen reports of winds, widespread gusts coming in about at least 60 miles per hour across parts of the valley throughout much of this afternoon. These have been winds out of the southeast, started to pick up generally after 1 o'clock or so, especially across much of Sacramento County. Down to the south, it's been a little bit earlier than that, but here's the latest information coming in now when it comes to the core of the strongest winds across portions of eastern Sacramento County, across Placer County, western portions of El Dorado County, and that's where we're getting some more recent reports of tree damage and power lines down, and we're seeing the uptick in power outages as well. And within our viewing area, more than 300,000 customers are without power right now due to the high winds. Right now in Sacramento, we're still seeing gusts in excess of 50 miles per hour, Lincoln at 56 miles per hour. The strongest wind report I've seen so far out of McClellan, in fact, of 66 miles per hour. That was about an hour ago. We had those strongest winds. Sac International did see a peak wind gust today of about 60 miles per hour, 61 miles per hour. So at this point down to the south, winds are not as strong, but we will still see periods of strong winds over the next few hours. Here's some new images now coming in out of Forest Hill, where we've seen the strong winds. Again, not just in the valley, but also across the foothills. And this is a home where a tree unfortunately fell down, destroyed this building. The good news is the fire department is reporting nobody was home at the time, so there were no injuries on this location when the tree came down in Forest Hill. And unfortunately, it's just one of many scenes like this across the valley and into the foothills. Modesto, a lot of power lines down as well. As you can see, a huge stretch there. Typically, because they're all connected, right? One comes down, it can bring down the others, and that's what we're seeing in Modesto as winds were approaching 50 to 60 miles per hour. CHP reporting this image there, showing again the damage that we're seeing, which is why we're seeing quite the uptick in power outages across the valley over the course of the afternoon. Live radar right now, what we're seeing across the valley, these convective lines of showers coming through. Now, these don't look like a whole lot on radar, but when they move through, they can take some of those strong winds aloft and bring them down to the surface. And that's where you get those really high wind gusts, 65 plus miles per hour. And that's not out of the question here this afternoon, this evening. Also, we had a lot of heavy rainfall this morning, more than 2 inches into Yolo County. Ground saturated. We had some high water reports this morning. Now we have another batch of heavy rain coming in. So I'm going to be watching for those reports into Yolo County here and also Solana County pretty soon. To the north across Yuba County and further north, even out toward Chico. Look at the thunderstorms going up. High winds there just north of our area. But this is kind of the activity we're watching that could take place even further south into the Sacramento and Central Valley this evening into tonight. We got a break in terms of the heavy snow across the Sierra pretty recently. We started seeing a patch of dry air wrapping around that storm center, which is still off to the west. But what we will see, the snow begin to fill in again tonight. Snowfall rates will approach again 1 to 3 inches per hour. That's going to lead to some very slick travel, of course, dangerous travel in the Sierra as the snow continues to add up. Further to the southwest, as you go toward the Bay Area out by San Jose, Santa Cruz, you're starting to see another patch of some heavy rain coming through. When this lifts north across parts of the valley, again, we're going to have to watch for those lines. Again, it could still bring down some of the strong winds to the surface. So you can see the storm center right here. He had some lightning around it. It was an intensifying storm all the way up as it approaches the coastline. And then down to the south, all those clouds, that's associated with what we call the atmospheric river. All that moisture. It's kind of parked right now over Southern California, where there is a developing, damaging, and life-threatening flood situation unfolding. Flash flood warnings are in place, including the city of Los Angeles, Santa Barbara. Again, we're looking at the potential of 4 to 8 inches of rain in place over Southern California, over those major cities. So that's going to be a big situation for tonight into tomorrow. Here at home, of course, we're watching the showers, the high wind. Now, when it comes to the peak of the high wind, already happening. I think as we get toward the next few hours after 8, 9 o'clock, we'll start to see those winds subside. It'll stay windy through the night, don't get me wrong, but in terms of the damaging winds, we're kind of in the thick of it now and have been. I'm going to start to see that start to decrease in coverage. Tomorrow, the big story is going to be the snow in the Sierra and also the showers and thunderstorms that will be taking place across parts of the valley. Stay with us. We'll continue to keep you updates with the storm, the radar, the wind reports on our live stream and also on CBSNewsSacramento.com.